Chester could write a whole 32 bars about, I might just write a bar. So it's the elaboration, and Chess is really good at elaborating and creative wordplay, and
With
I'm
depth.
not. Maybe I'm just not as clever. I'm blunt.
Right. No, can I just interject right here, just on that one word? You create a mist. There you go, a mist of creative content, verbally. Like it's almost like you're fucking poetic as fuck. And when I don't think the first Task Force album did it any justice. The second one, however, your voice and, like you say, your nonchalance, I think, brought that even further to the table on the second album. Do you know what I'm saying? It was a poetical stance. You had a lot more, I don't know, it felt like less words, more said. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it's acting first and foremost. I think rapping, being an MC is an act. It's part of, and you have to. I had a lot of trouble determining in my mind when we kind of started peaking in our fortune. I was going to say fame, but no, in our fame, not our fortune. Mm-hmm. When we started peaking in our notoriety, especially in London, my head kind of started going, and it was throbbing big. And it was very difficult for me to get a hold on my ego. And it caused me a lot of mental stress because of, it was almost like being schizophrenic. And because I smoked so much high-grade weed, my mind was getting very confused as to who I was and what my job was. And my job was entertaining lots of people who admired me and my brother and the work we did. And that gets very confusing to a child who has maybe not received enough empathy and enough compassion and love and nurturing as a child.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, hold on, what's going on? What are all these? It's confusing. What do you? Is it me? And you just get a little bit confused. And
like an imposter syndrome, sort of.
No, the ego.
The ego plays.
Because you have to have it in you in the first place, but then you can become manipulative with your power. Because it's almost like I went to therapy, and the therapist said, "So what's the deal?" And I was like, "Well, like as Robin, I'm really shy and anxious socially and wanna fit in. But then as Farmer, it's like flamboyant Farmer who will just, hey, how you doing? And it's like the Fonzies in the room, right? And at one point it was full on in that style. But and she said, "So what's the problem?" I said, "Well, when I'm walking down the street, like I feel like hindered by my own anxiety, etc., etc. And it's like I can't look people in the eye. I can't go to like an interview because I can't deal with someone being on the other side of the desk who's got power and authority." And I had a whole thing going on for a lot of my life. It's a first world issue, but for me it was terrifying because I couldn't maneuver properly as a human being that had to do simple things. But then I could get on a stage with thousands of people and be like, "Hey, this is great." Like, so it was very confusing. And she said, "Well, why don't you?" It was a bad bit of advice, really, because she said, "Well, why don't you go into those situations as Farmer?" And I was like, "Okay." So I just started living as that. Anyway.
Yeah. Then you all of a sudden you embody the whole thing 360, and your whole personality.
I was
morphs.
engulfed by this monster, and it caused a lot of problems. We even got to the point where we turned on our fans, and our fans in turn turned on us, and like there was actual times when huge fights broke out, and it was due to the behaviour of
there you go
man. And now looking back, it's like, what a freak of nature to be so yuck. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, back to, lyrically, MCing to me is ego. It is act. So it's like it's putting that into perspective and knowing when to get it out of the box. And it's like, here's my little monster. And it's like, that was what I tried to display, is this lyrical kind of jumping around kind of little creature.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I know it, live, I know exactly what you mean. You do. You get into like this level.
well, I mean,
This kind of movement of like shadow, almost like shadowing the mic.
but it's a car. Yeah, I mean, I like being the hype man.
Yeah.
I always noticed that I knew Chester's lyrics and Chester didn't know mine.
Charming.